purposes of summarizing our comments. In Article 1 of the Agreement, Chair, I'm now on page 1 of our submission. Formal commitment to promoting and coordinating cooperative research, development and training projects in nuclear science and technology with other members. That is what Article 1 is saying, and our comment is that the foundational commitment is critical. So there is need for us to ensure national alignment with the agreement's objectives. Chair, on page 2, we also looked at Articles 2, Roman numeral 2 and Roman numeral 5, which speaks to members sending representatives to annual meetings convened by the agency to determine program activities, among other things, and to consider reports. And additionally, Zambia must implement assigned portions of cooperative projects and make scientific and technical facilities and personnel available under these articles. Our comment is that there must be a cost-benefit analysis to determine the financial implications of regular representation, as I had mentioned in my summary, Chair. This analysis will inform strategic decision-making to optimize Zambia's engagement under the agreement while aligning with national development priorities. Under Article Roman numeral 9, Chair, the article provides that members must use any assistance provided under the agreement only for peaceful purposes in accordance with the agency's statutes. Our comment on this article is that it's important for there to be effective oversight to ensure compliance with international norms and to prevent the misuse of nuclear technology. Chair, we have noted that the article speaks to peaceful purposes, but we think that that is a very generic term, and we are proposing that there's a mechanism for effective oversight. Under Articles Roman numeral 5 and 8, regarding financial and other contributions, the article provides that members must contribute financially or otherwise to the effective implementation of cooperative projects and notify the agency of such contributions annually. Our comment here, obviously, Chair, is that if we're expected to make contributions, we must provide for such allocation in our budgets. And it may require also a cost-benefit analysis, considering our current resource constraints as a country. In conclusion, Chair, after a thorough review of the African Regional Cooperative Agreement for Research, Development and Training related to nuclear science and technology, IDC recommends that Zambia ratifies this treaty. The agreement aligns well with Zambia's strategic goals of advancing nuclear science and technology for peaceful purposes, enhancing national capabilities and contributing to regional development. Key articles that require careful consideration, including commitments to cooperation, safety standards, peaceful use of assistance and financial contributions, can be effectively managed with appropriate legislative and regulatory support. Furthermore, ratification will position Zambia to effectively collaborate with other African countries and access valuable resources and expertise, and advance its nuclear science and technology capabilities for peaceful and developmental purposes. With this, Chair, we submit, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Members of Parliament, you may... Honorable Twambo.
Thank you so much, IDC. I might just want to get a more detailed understanding. When you say budget allocations and financial commitments might require cost-benefit analysis, given the current resource constraints. Maybe I would just want you to explain what you mean here, because in my understanding, if we all agree that we need to be part of this, and it might even be a solution to some of the challenges we're facing in the sectors that nuclear science and technology intends to deal with, do you still feel there is need for another cost-benefit analysis? Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Maybe another question. You can take note of the questions. Honorable Member Malambo, and then Honorable Sumzingli.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to find out on number 3 on peaceful use of assistance. The key word here is you have indicated that effective oversight. And knowing very well how sensitive this material is, are we as a country ready, looking at what we have currently and looking at the dangers that are associated with the materials that we are talking about, are we as a country ready to offer effective oversight? Thank you.
Honorable Sumzingli.
I want to also augment the question from Honorable Mutinta. I think here you are indicating to us that IDC recommends that Zambia ratify this treaty. In the same vein, you are indicating that you need a critical cost-benefit analysis. Now, if this critical benefit analysis indicates that it will be more costly for the country to enter into this agreement, but in another vein, you are saying we need to rectify. So what should we take as a committee here?
Honorable Daka, we can take more than 3. Another question? Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay,
Honorable
sure.
Daka.
Thank you, witness, for your submission. Mine is on other countries that have not yet signed to this treaty. I don't know. What do you think is the hindrance for them not to sign? Because according to other witnesses who came, it's like it's just 3 or 4 who have signed so far. What could be the main challenge that has made them not to sign? I submit, Chair.
So far we have 4 questions, so can you respond to those questions?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. The first question was with regards our submission on a cost-benefit analysis. I will request our Chief of Portfolio to render a response, and we will assist him if need be. Thank you, Chair.
So, good morning once again. So, in terms of the cost-benefit analysis that needs to be given, I think our view is that indeed we may agree with the broad principles of the treaty, the broad principles, but we also need to understand the cost to the country of ratifying. Okay, so we don't go in blindly necessarily. So indeed, for any project, any undertaking, I think we need to know what it will cost us to become members and to provide for it in our budgeting processes. I think that's what we meant broadly. I don't know if my colleagues can help me.
Are you satisfied? Okay. You see, what they have used those two words, cost analysis. But as a corporation, you haven't come out. For me, you haven't answered. You are just trying to, like what others say, beating about the bush. You haven't hammered on the head of the nail, so that we know the position. What is your position in regards with the cost analysis? Which way are you going as a corporation? What would be your advice? So we are still at the neutral point.
Thank you, Chair, for the clarification. You were speaking in my mind, Chair. So, for me, I need to be convinced as a member of Parliament that is this thing a necessity? Money shall always be scarce, but you are coming from an institution that wants to drive the development and the scientific agenda of this country. So we shall continue saying financial constraints. So we wanted you to guide us. Do you think whatever it takes, we need to go for this?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Member, for the guidance in terms of the response that you are expecting. From the outset, I think our contribution to the committee is that we have looked at the need for nuclear technology to be used in order to foster economic development. I think from our research, we have come to the conclusion that this technology is necessary. But we have also gone further to speak about things that should be done by the country in preparation for ratification. So from a principle perspective, we agree with the principle of cooperation and collaboration in the use of nuclear technology. But we have also gone further to say there are certain things that need to be done. One of them is the cost-benefit analysis, but there's also another point that we have raised, maybe in a subtle manner, but perhaps I should give it prominence now. We have spoken about regulatory and legislative support. From my recollection, Chair, this country has considered nuclear technology before, and from the side of IDC, we did at one point establish a special purpose vehicle called Zam and the directives came from mainstream government that this is what they wanted to do. But when we now started meeting with cooperating partners, what was very clear was that we needed to, as a country, go through legislative reform. Our partners didn't see themselves being able to discharge their part of the arrangement without that legislative reform, and that this has been an issue for a number of years. My recollection is if there's anything that has been done, maybe it's very little in terms of regulatory and legislative reform. So we still maintain that ratifying this agreement principally is a good thing. But as we do that, we also need to look at the cost benefit. I think members of parliament have indicated that we have a lot of things going on in the country. We understand that, but is it a priority? I think this is information that the committee will now use to be able to determine as to whether this is something that is necessary now. But in terms of our submission, we thought that it would not be enough for us to say, in principle, we agree, without indicating what we think should be done as consideration for ratification is being made. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Can proceed.
Thank you. In terms of the peaceful use of assistance, there was a question relating to effective oversight. Before I invite my colleagues, I think one of the issues I have mentioned already when answering the first question, I think regulation is key. There must be regulation that will be able to support this kind of use of technology, and that is part of oversight. Obviously, under that, there will be regulations issued under a piece of legislation, and also processes and procedures adopted by the regulators. There's an emphasis that this technology should be used for peaceful processes and peaceful purposes. And I'm sure the committee is aware that nuclear energy can be used for other things other than peaceful purposes. And there's need for us as a country to ensure that in as much as we may have ratified the agreement, we must also have internal checks and balances to ensure that we are actually aligning to what the agreement says. I don't know if my colleagues would like to add. Thank you, Chair. That is our response.
Okay. You can proceed to the next question.
Thank you, Chair. The third question was with regards our submission in support of ratification, and at the same time we are requesting for a cost-benefit analysis to be conducted. I believe, Chair, that this question has been answered by our response to the first question. In terms of the other countries that have not signed or this agreement, Chair, we can't say for sure all the reasons, but I believe that one of the reasons which is also applicable to us, which would be ensuring that you have the framework within which to be able to use this technology, that could be a constraint. In other countries, they're actually saying they're not ready because they don't have the regulatory framework, or they don't have the allocation for land. I know that in our country, when we were considering the idea of Zam-Atom, the issue of where would the plant be situated was a very sticky issue. And I can only suspect that other countries may have similar problems other than other problems that we may not be aware of. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Karobo.
Thank you very much, Chair. IDC, the subject we are looking at today is associated with the nuclear reactions, radioactive reactions, and I've critically looked at what you've lined up in terms of what you're supposed to do before we ratify. And I've noticed that you have overlooked preparedness in terms of handling. In case, in a situation where we are faced with a disaster in this line, are we prepared as a country to handle such disasters, and do we have equipment to respond, to help us respond to disasters that may arise? Thank you very much. And do you have maybe the human capital, that is adequate human capital to work in this line?
Any other question? Maybe you can respond to that one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for the question. I had mentioned that perhaps we have been subtle in our responses in relation to preparedness, but it's all under the umbrella of legislative and regulatory support. We did speak about, at one point, Zambia not being ready. And when we talk about regulatory support, I think the issue of, do we have the numbers, do we have the equipment, do we have the people or the expertise, that's where it falls. And so if once we are sure that the legislative and regulatory framework is in place, then our assumption is that those technical issues will also have been taken care of. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, any follow-up?
Thank you, Chair. IDC, when you appear before such committees, you appear to help us, as we are not experts. So we are learning from you. So when you just say legislative, as we will not know the details that are under legislative, we're supposed to itemize so that we know now. Going by your response just now, is it your, because you have just confirmed that you are not ready, all those things are not in position, is it your submission, will it be your submission that we should not ratify until we address those matters? Thank you, Chair.
Maybe just to add on, IDC is on the ground for me. That's what do I mean when I say you are on the ground? You are experiencing the practical applications referring to as development. So IDC is aware of the level of development that the country is at. So in terms of what is there, you might not have the full knowledge, the full package of what is there, but there's a great insight of what we have vis-a-vis preparedness of these calamities, like what happened in Japan. I don't know whether it was 20. So we apply immunity. This immunity is not for mere application, it's for real. Real in the sense that what comes out here is for the nation. So we want to get the best from you, so that in applying the best from IDC today, Zambia goes in the right direction. So we shouldn't have any fears of victimization, fears of intimidation. Let us clear so that you remain a free and provide to us the best that we can offer on the floor of the House. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'll begin with the response and then I'll ask my colleague, the Chief Investments Officer, to add. Chair, in relation to that question, perhaps I can start with the mandate of IDC. IDC is an investment company, and our mandate is area of investment and industrialization. So, in terms of expertise with respect to this particular issue of nuclear energy, our understanding is that there are other organizations with that expertise, and those organizations will come and make those submissions. And what I had shared with the committee was an experience of IDC when it was looking to invest in the nuclear energy sector, and some of the risks that were identified was the legislation at the time. I think that was in 2020. And there was a commitment of sorts that we would look at the legislation, but along the way, the government of the Republic of Zambia decided that they, as government, would be in charge of the special purpose vehicle. So from the IDC side, we had to deregister Zam-Atom, and it became a vehicle that was being overseen by the government of the Republic of Zambia. So when we speak about regulatory support and legislative support, it's from our experience. So we are not able, for example, to tell you how many people the country needs to be able to respond to a disaster. What we would do is engage the regulatory authorities before we finalize our investment, because we have to also look at that side. So for the question in relation to should we not ratify these things, I think I have spoken about some aspects of our submission being subtle, but I think we have been categoric about, as you consider ratifying this, please can these things be looked into. That is the spirit of our submission. And at this point, Chair, I would like to hand over to my colleague from investments to also, I hope that he'll be augmenting my response and not saying something against my submission. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Acting CEO. I just wanted to try to add to what our Acting CEO has said. I think an important part of the agreement is the cooperation and the learning. So that even a country like Zambia, which is probably still very new or a novice to nuclear energy, by ratifying this, it gives us a chance to energy. Yes, in the long term they are, but I think that learning comes out of cooperation.
Okay, thank you. Unless there are other observations. Yes?
Sorry, Chair, I think one of us wants to make a contribution.
Yeah, you can proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, just riding on the comment from our CIO, I just wanted to augment from looking at it from the IDC perspective, right? Why we are motivating for this is we are saying it will drive industrialization. Chair, the committee may note that I think about 2023, we as a country developed a document called the Integrated Resource Plan. This document essentially highlights what our energy requirements will be between now and 2050. Chair, in the next 6 years, we require in excess of 5,000 megawatts of power. This does not include what we are trying to do in the mining space, which is expand production to 3 million metric tons. So, from an IDC perspective, Chair, essentially what we're looking at is that nuclear energy is one of those things that helps us meet some of those energy requirements in the long run, right? And I think it's also important to note, Chair, that on the African continent, 36 countries have already ratified this agreement out of the 54 countries. Of the total continent, only 2 countries are doing nuclear right now. South Africa has a plant that they built in 1980. Egypt is developing nuclear reactors. So this augments the point that CIO is trying to make, to say many African countries see that for us to deliver on our industrialization mandate, we will need different forms of energy that can support what we are trying to achieve. However, many African countries do not have the resource, do not have the technical competence, do not have the capacity to deliver on that singularly. And I think that's where the value of such an agreement comes from, because it allows us to leverage on the cooperation, like CIO has mentioned, the different abilities of the different countries to come together and plan not only for what we need today, but to have a conversation that says in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years of our country, what are our plans around the energy that will power our development? If you look at countries like the US, for the last 6 decades, most of the US's industrialization has been driven by nuclear energy. They did not always have the technology, but it's a technology that supported them for many, many decades in terms of meeting what their requirements are going forward. And I think even as a country, maybe what we were trying to submit to the committee is that as we have this discussion, we need to look at it from both perspectives. We need to have a conversation that says, what is our plan going into the future? But at the same time, we need to lay the groundwork at some point. And I think this agreement is what helps us lay that groundwork to say, can we put together the building blocks that will help us get to that point in the future? I think, Chair, really that's what we were trying to motivate for when we made these submissions to the committee. I submit.
I believe there are no other comments. Okay. From this interaction, I'm sure the committee's questions and aspirations could have been met, and your submission has diligently responded to some major aspects of this treaty. You have analyzed in your own perspective as IDC how we should handle this treaty. If we are to ratify, what we have to put in place as an advanced party. In my culture, we have a saying that you display watermelons, you expose watermelons to elephants. When you give them the watermelons, whilst they are handling the watermelons, you are doing other things. So what you have indicated to the committee, the basis of us being prepared There are people in this world who fear. They wear fear every day. They eat fear. They drive fear. They live fear. What happens at the end of that? They have nothing. So, whilst we have fear, we have to drive into this direction for us to achieve at the end. So we appreciate your presence here. We appreciate your submission. We appreciate your analysis of the whole subject. However, we have to remove the immunity that was given unto you so that as IDC you go and save the Zambians. Thank you very much for your coming and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, honorable members.
You're welcome. It's not.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio. For more information, call 0977 854102 or 0977 536487. Parliament Television, bringing Parliament closer to you.
This month on DSTV Compact, uncover the incredible natural and man-made reasons behind epic global construction fails. Investigate a new season of outlandish crimes within the First Nations community alongside Woodburn and Butte.
We're all one big happy family.
And tag along with Hayley Banks as she tries to save the world by working through a one-of-a-kind to-do list.
I'm totally freaking out right now.
There's so much to enjoy on your home of entertainment, so stay connected to DSTV Compact.
This month on DSTV Access, Bill and his talented team take on muscle cars and monster truck builds for their rowdy customers.
Check it out, one of a kind.
The Malta family adopts a new species of transformer in the action-packed town of Witwiki.
I like to live dangerously.
And Captain Glenn and his crew are in for more high-sea adventure, drama, and romance.
And this guy made out with everybody on the trip.
There's so much to enjoy on your home of entertainment, so stay connected to DSTV Access.
Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza is an area member of parliament for Kaumbwe constituency. Was born and bred in Kaumbwe constituency at village Mwanjabantu, and did his primary school at Mwanjabantu Primary School, went to secondary school at Chasa Boys, and then went to the University of Zambia. He did civil engineering. I did so well at UNZA, and I was retained as a lecturer in civil engineering. And then I went for master degree in China. I did in the same field of civil engineering. So after completing my master degree in China, I came back, taught at the University of Zambia again, and then I went for my PhD again to China in the same field of civil engineering. My expertise are in roads and railway engineering. And then I completed my PhD in 2012. After completing my PhD in 2012, I was employed by China Railways in China, and I've had a lot of international exposure in highway and road development projects that have been like government to government, China and African governments, and also European, some South American countries, also to say developing nations. I have 26 years of experience in this field, and on the local front, I participated in the designs for the greatest road from Luangwa Bridge up to Mwami border, Mongu Senanga Road. Talk about road T2 from Kapiri to Serenje. Also, so many road projects in the country, as well as railway projects. Railway projects on the railway front.
Good morning, PS. You're welcome to the Committee on Education, Science and Technology. We will have introductions, yourselves and ourselves, then submission. So let me request the honorable members for introductions.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Tyson Smuzengiri, Member of Parliament for Gwembe and a member of this committee.
Chair, thank you. Good morning, witness. I'm Malamba Member of Parliament for Mobile Constituents. Nago is in Southern Province, in Mazabuka, and I'm a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Morning, PS. I'm Honorable Elias Daka, Member of Parliament from Sinzara constituency in the Eastern Province. You are welcome, PS. Thank you.
My name is Achinga Mutu, representing Kalavo Central, sitting in for a substantive chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, PSMT. My name is Sanford Minde from the Office of a Clerk. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable. Introductions.
Apologies, Chair, for coming in late. Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning to our witnesses. My name is Honorable George Kangwat Sanga, MP for Kasha constituency in Kasama and a member of this committee. You're welcome.
So, you can make your introductions.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of this committee. Yes, my name is Brilliant Halonzo, Permanent Secretary and Controlling Officer for the Ministry of Technology and Science. I'm going to ask my colleagues to also introduce themselves one by one. Okay. Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members of the committee. My name is Victor Kachari, Director Planning and Information from the Ministry of Technology and Science.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, MPs. My name is Miona Maguni. I'm Director Communications and Digital Technologies.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Pombele, Acting Principal Science and Research Officer.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Tali Bonaventure. I'm Senior Planner in charge of Cabinet and Parliamentary Affairs in the Ministry. Thank you.
Thank you. Cap 12 is applied and extended to you for protection against any prosecution against the usage of the submission. The Ministry of Technology is a major stakeholder. I believe that you cannot mislead us or the committee, because that's what Cap 12 states.